what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna talk to you about how can you actually get those leads? What is working today? Not 6 months ago, not a year ago. What is actually working today based on real tests and real results from our actual clients? So that's what we're gonna do today, is we're gonna talk about the concepts that you guys need to understand to make sure that when you're hiring somebody to do these things, when you find a company to do these things, or you find a freelancer to do some of the things that we're talking about, or whatever, whoever it is that you hire, you need to make sure that you actually understand what it is that they're actually supposed to be doing. I want to talk about how search actually works. Now, I want to tell you a story about a guy named Tom. This is Tom. Tom gets into a car accident. Now, while Tom is waiting for the police, he's not injured, but his car is pretty banged up and they're waiting on the side of the road. So while he's waiting for the police to show up, he pulls out his phone and he searches personal injury attorney. What happens is he now sees an ad for your law firm. So he clicks on the ad, he clicks on the link, and then he's halfway through the page and then the police show up and they say, hey, Mr. Smith, can you come over here so we can take your statement real quick? So he closes his phone real quick and totally forgets about you, doesn't call, doesn't really even think he needs a lawyer, to be totally honest with you. Later, he goes home, he's sitting on the couch, he's watching TV, and he's scrolling through Facebook. Because of the fact that you have something called a pixel on your page, a pixel is a little piece of code that can tell Facebook or Google that, hey, this person that's been on my website, show them more ads in the future. So because you have this pixel on your website, Tom is scrolling through Facebook and all of a sudden in his newsfeed, he sees a video from your law firm. And it talks about the 3 things that car insurance companies do to screw car accident victims out of settlement money. So Tom sees this video and he's like, hey, that's the law firm from earlier. That's interesting. So he watches about half the video and then he leaves. The next thing he does is Tom's a golfer and he's supposed to be playing golf tomorrow. So then he opens up the Weather Channel app. And all of a sudden, at the top, he sees an ad, a banner ad, and it's for your law firm. Then Tom goes to sleep. He's getting ready to go to sleep because he's got a big day of golf the next morning, right? So 2 o'clock in the morning, Tom wakes up in really, really bad pain. He's got really, really bad back pain. So Tom pulls his phone out again, and he goes over to everyone's DIY best friend, YouTube, and he searches how to cure lower back pain. So he goes, he finds a video, he clicks the video, but all of a sudden, what is that right there? What is that right there? What happens before a video plays? He sees an ad for your law firm providing more value. Now, he's seen this law firm several times. His back's hurting. Then what he does is he goes to Google and he Googles your law firm. And what he's actually looking for specifically are reviews. And what does he find? He finds glowing reviews. He finds 5 stars. And he finds clients that are really, really happy with the service that you provided them, right? He still isn't 100% sure about you. So then he goes to Google and he searches best personal injury attorney near me. And then he sees you again ranking in the maps with 5 stars and more reviews than anyone else. And that is where he picks up the phone, makes a call, books a consultation, and ultimately hires you. This is how search works. A lot of times what we think, we kind of think that there's this perfect thing where basically someone sees an ad, they see an ad, and then they click on the ad, they go on your page, and then they call you, and then they hire you, right? That's kind of like how, this is like the ideal way, this is like how we want it to work. The way I just showed you, the ad, the page, the call to hire, that's not how it works, guys. The internet is an ecosystem, and that's the number one thing that you have to understand. You have to understand that you have to treat the internet as an ecosystem, and that's the number one thing that's working right now. Understanding that everything you do, whether it's your paid ads, whether it's your social media, whether it's your reviews, whether it's your SEO, whether it's your conversion rate optimization on your website, it all plays a part in you getting a single client. You can't execute this strategy with one company handling your SEO, one company handling your Facebook ads, one company handling your PPC. Like, it's not going to work. You have to have a company that understands the entire strategy. You have to have somebody that understands the entire ecosystem and how search actually works. It's funny. I just had we had an event a couple months ago. I was talking to a lawyer, and he was telling me that They didn't know that their billboards worked until they got rid of the billboards, and all of a sudden, their organic SEO stopped working. Their actual physical billboards impacted their organic SEO. Every time we run Facebook ads for a client, their organic SEO goes up. It's all connected, guys, because people don't search in a vacuum. They search in multiple different touch points, right? So understanding that the internet is an ecosystem is the number one thing that you have to understand if you want to have success. First of all, let me ask you a question. Whose marketing stops right here? So basically what happens is they Google you, they click on your ad, or maybe they see a Facebook ad, they engage with it somehow, they leave, and then none of this is even set up to happen. All right, let me ask you some questions. Now, everybody pull out a piece of paper, and I want you to write yes or no after every single question that I'm going to ask you. Number one, if somebody Googles you, would they see an ad? If they see your ad and they click it, would they then be served social media ads, right? Yes or no? Would they then see Google display ads on the Google Display Network? That's how he was able to show up on the Weather Channel. Would they see videos on YouTube? Yes or no? Would you see ads on YouTube after somebody engages with your website or a landing page? If they Google you, will they find glowing reviews, 5-star reviews, more reviews than any other attorney out there? Yes or no? And then, if they Google your most important keywords, would they find you ranking in the Google 3-pack? Yes or no? If you have 5 or 6 yeses, then you are doing a fantastic job and you are knocking it out of the park. If you have 3 to 4 yeses, you're on the right path, but you're not there yet. You got some work to do. And guys, if you have less than 3 yeses, you guys got some work to do, because this is why your internet marketing isn't working. This is why people have the false belief that PPC doesn't work. It's because you stop too soon. The fortune is in the follow-up. The fortune is in the follow-up, because that's exactly what we're talking about. The fortune is in the follow-up, following up over and over and over and over again. And I'm not just saying this. I mean, yes or no? Bill and I live this, right? You come on one of our websites, you watch one of our videos, and we are going to be in your newsfeed for the rest of your life. Right? We're living this, guys. The fortune is in the follow-up. That's the number one thing. The number two thing that is just destroying it right now, just crushing the game for our clients right now, is LSA Ads. When you go to Google, this is Google. At the top, you got the search box up here, and then you typically have several ads right here. And a lot of times they're going to have a check mark and they're going to say Google guaranteed. These are your LSA ads. Here's why I love LSA ads. First of all, we try to get LSA ads running within 2 weeks for our clients, right? When a client hires us, we try to get LSA ads live within 2 weeks. Now, the reason why is because the faster we can get a result for a client, the happier we are, the happier the client is for the lifetime of our relationship. And we want happy clients. Have you guys noticed that the faster you can get even a small win for one of your clients, it's just everything's much smoother. Our goal is to get our clients a fast result as quickly as possible. And we launch the LSA ads within 2 weeks. Now, why do we do that? One, because with LSA ads, you're only paying for phone calls. You're not paying for clicks. You're not paying for website visits. You're actually paying for phone calls. Now, the other cool thing, you can dispute bad calls. And we typically win approximately 50% of the disputes that we put in, right? You're not going to win them all, but it is what it is, right? It's just the cost of doing business. But we can dispute calls that are not good calls, and we typically win about 50% of those. So that means you're only paying for calls. The great thing is that our cost per call is less than $100 per call, and that includes PI. LSA ads allow us to do something really, really cool for our clients that they otherwise couldn't do with other things, right? With an LSA ad, sometimes we have clients that don't have a ton of money for advertising, right? So Bill and I were once talking, and we were kind of like, well, you know, the reality is that our services should be an investment, not an expense, right? So how can we make our services pay for themselves right out of the gate, right? Because sometimes, you know, people hire us and then there's a setup period. We got to build their website. We got to do SEO. It takes a little while, right? So what we decided is that LSA ads is the way to do that. So what's cool is that you can take your LSA ads, you can put them on a credit card, and you can pay for your ads, which are running within 2 weeks. Now, let me ask you a question. If I make a payment on a credit card today, do I have to actually take that money out of my bank account today and pay it? Or do I have a little bit of a grace period? 6 weeks, 8 weeks? How long is it? 1 month? Now, here's the cool thing about LSA ads. LSA ads start working like right away. So in a lot of cases, most cases, our clients actually are able to run ads, they're able to start ads, they're able to get phone calls, they're able to get clients, and they're able to pay off that credit card that they use to put the ads on before the credit card bill is even due. That is why LSA ads are so amazing. So LSA ads are the number 2 thing that's working today. Now, the third thing that's working really, really well is Google ads. And I just showed you that entire system, right? But the problem is most people don't do Google ads correctly. Most people just do this part of Google ads and then they ignore this entire part. But the reality is that this right here might cost you $35 for this one click. And then this entire follow-up system maybe cost you like, I don't know, $5 or something like that. So where you could be getting more phone calls just by setting up this entire system, which runs on autopilot, you're basically just throwing $35 away because they're coming to this website, they're leaving, and then they're never remembering who you are, right? So this is the reason why people think that Google ads are, air quotes, too expensive. Because you don't do the full thing. Because most marketing companies, like 85%, 90% of marketing companies, don't do the entire ecosystem. They just do the first part, right? So if you do this entire ecosystem, that's the secret to making Google ads work. Again, I talked to you guys yesterday about how we get a 15% opt-in rate compared to a 7% opt-in rate of the entire industry, right? So our pages get 15% conversion rate compared to the industry average, which according to legals our WordStream is 6.29% or something like that, right? And the way that we do that is through a very, very dedicated system that we use on all of our landing pages that I went through yesterday. So the first way we get that is through the follow-up system, right? The follow-up system is the easiest way because, again, the fortune is in the follow-up. The second is we use a dedicated landing page. Most people don't use a dedicated landing page, believe it or not. They just send people to their homepage, which is not a good way to do it. The next thing is we make sure that the message in the ad matches the message on the landing page. So if you run an ad for child custody, they shouldn't land on a landing page that is just general family law. It should actually be a child custody landing page. If it's an ad for DUI, it shouldn't be a landing page that's about general criminal defense. It should be specifically about DUI. The other thing is that we sell the benefit in the headline. What is the benefit of working with us? That's the most important thing. Again, on our landing pages, we talk about 3 things. What is it that they want? How do they get it? And in the headline, we always put what will their life be like after they get it, right? And when you do that, conversion rates go way up. And then finally, we make sure that we're using mobile optimized websites. As obvious as this is, 85% of lawyers are using PPC ads without mobile optimization. Like, you're just throwing money away if you're doing that. That's how you make the aggregation of marginal gains work for your PPC ads, like I talked about. Now, the fourth thing that's working is social media lead generation. Social media lead gen is absolutely crushing it if you have amazing intake. So across the board, our clients get leads for $60.39 cost per lead for non-PI. Everything non-PI, on average, it's about $60.39 for a qualified lead. PI is $118.74 cost per lead. Now, here's the thing. You need an intake system. I hear over and over and over again, I ran social media ads and I got really crappy leads. Well, that's the best part about social media ads, is that 90% of the leads that you get are not going to be very good. So what that means is that your competitors are going to run social media ads and they're going to get a bunch of bad leads, 90% bad, and they're going to assume that social media doesn't work. But the reality is that there are good leads in there. And if you don't believe me, ask Ethan, who's signed up like 2,000 cases since like the beginning of this year, right? All 100% from social media. The secret is good intake. Now, I want to tell you a story about this. We had a client, actually we had 2 clients that we ran social media ads for, and it was identical campaigns. One was they're both criminal defense attorneys. They both exact same campaigns, same ads, same landing pages, same messaging, same everything, right? Now, they both generated 300 leads from this campaign. One attorney got 0 cases. The other attorney got 75 cases. So I called this attorney and I said, what happened? How did you get no clients out of this deal? And he said, well, I called people, but they just didn't answer the phone. I just couldn't get in touch with anybody. So I said, well, how many times did you call them? And he said, I called them once, maybe twice, which we all know means he called them one time, right? So I talked to the other attorney and I said, how did you do this? This is absolutely amazing. We ran the exact same campaign for another attorney and he didn't get a single case. He said he couldn't get anybody on the phone. So I talked to the attorney and he kind of laughed a little bit. And he's like, yeah, nobody answers the phone the first time you call them. That's ridiculous. Nobody does that. I had this really cool system called 3 times 3 ways. And using that system, he was able to sign up 75 clients. So what he told me is that every time he gets a lead, first thing they do is they text them. They send them a text message. Now, in that text message, they make sure to include their name, because if anybody has an iPhone, you'll know that sometimes you get a message from a phone, or you get a phone call, and under that call, it'll say, maybe John Smith. So what you want to do is you want to text them, say, hey, this is attorney John Smith, or hey, this is attorney Sue Johnson, or whatever your name is. And basically, you would say that in there. Now, give them about 15 minutes to answer the call, or to open the text message, and then you're going to call them from the same number. If they don't answer, you're going to send them an email. And then the next day, if you haven't heard back, you text, and then you call, and then you email. And then the third day, if you still haven't heard back, you text, you call, and you email. Now, here's the other thing. When you call, vary the times. So maybe this is at 9 a.m., this is at noon, and this is at 4 p.m. Or you use the golden hours. What are the golden hours for phone calls? 5 to 9, right, exactly, 5 to 9. So maybe you call one more time the next day at 6 p.m., right? Using this system, this is how he signed up 75 clients, right? Because he had a good intake system. He had a way to do this. Now, he didn't do this himself. He has a team that does this. The fortune is in the follow-up. So that's how social media works. Social media works great. And again, if you use misconception marketing, which I talked about misconception marketing on the VIP session today. Misconception marketing is your best friend on social media, and it's the only thing that Ethan does. It works really, really well. This is the format. All you have to do is call out a misconception that people typically have, and then say the truth about what the thing actually is, and then a call to action if they need help. So for example, the example I gave in the VIP session today was, most people don't realize that the average person who has a personal injury attorney receives 44% more money in their pocket even after they pay the personal injury attorney's fees than they would on their own. So what if you create a video about that? If you're a family law attorney, how many fathers believe, coming into your office believing that they are at a disadvantage, that the law actually has them at a disadvantage because they are fathers, right? It's not true. So these are all misconceptions that you can talk about where you're changing, you're giving someone a new opportunity, and then you have a call to action, and then you just have to have a really good follow-up system. And I'm telling you, this works. This prints money. I've seen clients do it. Ethan does it. Like, it really works well. So social media lead generation is absolutely crushing it for us. Now, the fifth thing that's working for us is maps and local SEO. Now, I want to go back to this. All right, when you're looking at Google, so again, you've got the search box here, you got your LSA ads, then you've got some PPC ads here, and then you've got this really big map, right? You guys know what I'm talking about. Here's the map, and then you got listings in here. And then down here, you have organic listings. So maps, and then organic. I want you guys to understand something. Phone calls come from maps. If you guys want phone calls, you've got to rank in the maps. And we proved this definitively with a client in Orange County, California. He's a DUI attorney. His name's Todd Langren. He's actually since retired, sold his law firm, and moved to Hawaii. The reason he was able to sell his law firm is because he had an asset on the first page of Google that made the phone ring for free because he was in the Google 3-pack. He was in the Google 3-pack for every single DUI attorney keyword that you could dream of. Orange County DUI attorney, DUI attorney Orange County, best DUI attorney, DUI lawyer near me, all the keywords that you could dream of. Not only was he in the maps, he was also #1 organic. He was also #1 right here, below the maps. So Orange County, California, I know I heard a few people from Orange County. Orange County, California is a very competitive area. There's a lot of money out there. Now, Todd was getting about 50 calls per week, 50 qualified calls per week just by being in this Google 3-pack. He's in the Google 3-pack, the Google Maps, and somebody calls and reports his listing as fake. So what ends up happening is Google doesn't do any investigation. They just take his listing down. And I'm telling you guys, like a light switch, his phone calls just completely shut off. He went from 50 calls a week to his phone was silent. But here's the interesting thing. So he was gone. He disappeared from this area right here. He was still ranking number 1 down here, right? So what this told us is that, interesting, he was getting all the calls here, and he was still here, and he wasn't getting calls anymore. So we called Google, we sent them pictures and a lease agreement and utility bills and everything, and we finally got them to reinstate his listing. And then all of a sudden, what ended up happening was he came back in the maps, and these 50 calls, the 50 calls started up again, right? Just like somebody turned on a faucet, they just started coming again. So that told us definitively that ranking in the Google 3-pack, the Google Maps, that is where phone calls come from. Now, how do you rank in the Google 3-pack? There's 3 factors that go into ranking in the Google 3-pack. The first is location, proximity to the searcher. How close are you to the person that's searching? Now, there's not a lot that you can do about that, so we're not really going to talk about that, right? The second thing you can do, though, the second factor is prominence. How prominent is your business on the internet? Now, the easiest way to establish prominence is through business listings, through citations. So that's why whenever you hire a marketing company or a good marketing company, that's why we tell all of our clients, we need to make sure that we get your citations built. Citations are like business listings. So Yelp, Avo, FindLaw, Justia, YellowPages.com, and a bunch of others, you want to make sure that you have them filled out because you want Google to find your name, address, and phone number consistently across a lot of different places on the internet, right? That's how you build up your prominence. Now, the third way that you can rank in the Google 3-pack is relevancy. That's the third factor, is how relevant are you to the thing that is being searched. So there's 2 ways to establish relevancy. The first way to establish relevancy is through your website content. And every time a client hires us, we go through and we add all kinds of relevancy to their website content. We make sure that they're relevant both for their geographical location and for their practice area. Now, the second way, and actually the best way to establish relevancy, though, is through your Google reviews. So basically, in your Google reviews, if you can get clients to leave words, phrases, keywords, synonyms that are relevant to both your geographical location and your practice area in your Google reviews, then Google will look at those reviews, they'll look at those words, phrases, keywords, and synonyms, and they'll say, oh, wow, this law firm must really be relevant to this practice area and this location, so we're going to rank them higher. We're going to show them more, right? Now, the question is, how do you get your clients to leave these words, phrases, keywords, synonyms in your reviews? The way you can do it is by prompting them with 5 questions. So what you need to do is tell them, when you ask for the review, when you request a review, say, a lot of times people want to leave us a review, but they're not exactly sure what to say. We have found that the best reviews answer the following 5 questions. Question number 1, what was the problem that you had before you came to our law firm? Question number 2, why did you pick our firm over all the other firms available? Question number 3, what did we do for you? Question number 4, what were the results? And question number 5, how did these results impact your life? So if you get reviews and people answer those questions, then they're naturally going to get those words, phrases, keywords, and synonyms in your reviews, which is going to make you rank higher. And that's going to make you rank in the Google 3-pack. The 6th thing is your website. Most marketing companies, what they do is they add some branding to the website. They make you a website that looks great, that looks really good, that you're really proud of, that you want to show off, that you want to show to your friends, your family, your colleagues, your mom, all those people, right? And then once they have a website that everybody likes the look and feel of, then they throw a little bit of SEO on there. They're like, okay, cool. We got this website, it looks great, and now let's throw some SEO on there, right? But the problem is that they're missing the third pillar that makes a website actually valuable and actually get you clients. And that is conversion rate optimization. You see, a website is like a tripod. The reality is, if you have a website and it isn't working very well, it's usually because this leg is the first one that they focused on, and then they put a little bit of emphasis on this one, and they completely ignored this one altogether. However, what we have found is that when you do the opposite, when you first focus on conversion rate optimization and search engine optimization, that does 2 things. First of all, search engine optimization makes sure that you have a website that Google loves, that Google wants to send free traffic to. Now, let me ask you a question. Let's say Google sends you all this free traffic, but nobody goes to the website and picks up the phone and calls you. Is that website really worth anything? Like, is traffic the name of the game? So that's the problem, is that nobody focuses on conversion rate optimization, right? So what we do instead is we focus on building a website that is built for SEO, so you get free traffic so that Google loves it. And then we also add all the conversion rate optimization elements that we know to work, that's going to inspire somebody to pick up the phone and actually call you so that you get leads from your website. Now, then and only then can we focus on the branding. Now, I'm not saying that we don't make attractive websites. Our websites are beautiful websites. But I would much rather have a website that makes your phone ring off the hook with free traffic than a website that's really artistic that your mom loves. What we do with our clients, and the thing that is working amazing, is when you understand that a website is like a tripod. If you're missing one leg in a tripod, what happens? It falls over. Exactly. It falls over. Things fall apart. Right. I want to talk to you about another thing that we deal with a lot of times with this, and it's something called sunk cost bias, right? Now, Charlie Munger, who is Warren Buffett's business partner, and Warren Buffett says that Charlie Munger is the smartest person that he's ever met. He talks about sunk cost bias. Sunk cost bias is one of the human biases that prevents people from taking action. Because a lot of times I talk to lawyers and I say, well, the problem is your website doesn't have SEO and you really don't have any conversion rate optimization. And they're like, yeah, but I spent a lot of money on my website. Can't you just use my website because I spent a lot of money on my website? If you have a website that gives you free traffic, and then when that traffic comes to your page, they convert, meaning they pick up the phone and call you, do you think that could double your revenue? Lots of people agree, right? So let's say it doesn't. Let's say it just increases your revenue by 15%. Just 15%, right? So here's what I want you to do. I want you to take your revenue from last year, and I want you to multiply it by 15%. Annual revenue times 0.15% times 15%. So if it's a law firm that made $1 million last year, and we all agree that fixing your SEO and fixing your conversion rate optimization will double your revenue, but we're just going to say 15%. The average law firm has a website for 3 years, right? 3 years. So whatever that revenue is, I want you to multiply that by 3. So a law firm that made $1 million last year, $150,000 is 15%. Times 3 is $450,000, plus let's say the $15,000 you spend on your website. So that website is actually costing you $465,000 because of your sunk cost bias. I want you to think about that. That is what sunk cost bias is costing you. When you have a website and you're hanging on to it and you will not adapt to adding search engine optimization, to adding conversion rate optimization, that's what it's costing you. Now, the final thing that is working, number 7, actually this isn't the final thing, this is just the final thing that we're going to talk about right now, is collaboration. Collaboration is the number one thing that has always worked. It's surrounding yourself with like-minded people, people who think the same way that you do, people that think even more positive than you do, that have a positive outlook, that don't say, I can't do that, that say lawyers can't do, they don't say lawyers can't do that, they don't say lawyers shouldn't advertise, or I only get my cases from word of mouth because that's how I am and I'm old school, or I'm a solo, that's all I do. Like, don't surround yourself with people like that. You've got to collaborate with other people that are all going the same direction you are, right? And masterminds, that's like the number one thing that has worked for me. It's the number one thing that has worked for Bill. It's who do you surround yourself? Because the 5 people that you surround yourself with, those are the sum of the people. You become the sum of the people that you surround yourself with, right? So those are the 7 things that are working today that we're seeing across all of our clients.